On the field. Off the field. Sports talk. Entertainment and more. This is Sauce on the Side.
Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to episode 92 of the Sauce on the Side podcast. And as always, Dippers, I'm your host, Drake, joined by the man, the producer, Mr. Leighton Pip Shaventone.
Well, after a few months, safe to say that the John Gruden, Mike Mayock marriage is going back dysfunctional as we all hoped it was going to go.
And our guest host for today, Mr. Jared Diesel Darty.
In 2010, Derrick Rose won an MVP, averaging 25 points per game, 7.7 assists, and 4 rebounds. Damian Lillard's averaged that for 4 years in a row. He didn't come out of nowhere.
Wow. Are you serious?
Yep.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Dude, didn't he just make his first All-Star game like 2 years ago? Or was it this year?
He made 2 All-Star games, then he got snubbed a couple times,
Yeah.
then he made another one.
Wow. That's absolutely crazy. That is wild. So guys, be sure to listen on Spotify, iTunes. Be sure to subscribe, rate, give us that 5-star review. Follow on Twitter and Instagram at TheSaucyPod. Guys, we will do an NBA postseason update, NFL draft preview, and a little bit of MLB chatter and hit on the evaporating Yankees. First things first, we'll touch on the NBA postseason. Guys, this segment will be a tribute to John Bon Jovi. It is called Dead or Alive. I'll read off the teams that have lost 3 games so far in the NBA postseason, and you tell me, is this team dead, or are these teams still living on a prayer, and they're still alive? So first up, we have the Pistons. The Pistons are down 3-0 to the Bucks. Are they dead or alive?
They're dead. They're very dead.
Yeah, they're barely breathing.
Yeah. they're as dead as can be. Jazz, down 3-0 to the Rockets.
This team is dead. The Jazz, man, I didn't think it would be a sweep, but I think the Rockets are going to win, but the Jazz looked really bad the whole series except for, I think, game 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're dead, too. They're a little less dead than the Pistons, but they're dead.
Yeah, they're as dead can get as long as you don't dive in Piston territory, but they're dead. I'm really disappointed. I thought this team would actually give them a fight.
Yeah, but then they got blown out the past 2 games.
Yeah, well, I think the last game, it actually came down to a last shot, and they missed the shot, so...
Kyle Korver actually Donovan Mitchell missed like a wide open 3.
Yeah.
But Kyle Korver wrote like a real nice thing about him, saying how hard he works and stuff.
Yeah.
He definitely has to become more efficient, but
yeah, that'll come.
Yeah.
Well, unless he's just going to be like every other 2 guard in the NBA. So guys, the Nets, they are down 3-1 to the 76ers. Are they dead or are they alive?
They are dead. But I thought about this last night. I think regardless of what happened from this point forward, unless there's some crazy upset in the West, with the exception of the team that wins it all, the Nets should be the happiest team out of the playoffs.
Yes, I agree.
For sure, because the 76ers have 4 max contract guys, and the Nets all playing with them every single game, and even got a game.
Yeah, they stole a game, and they scored probably 115 points in every other game outside of game 1, which they won.
Yeah, so the Nets are still light years away, but this is a good sign.
Yes, Diesel, dead or alive?
Dead.
Yeah, I think they're dead too. Clippers, down 3-1 to the Warriors. Are the Clippers dead or alive?
Dead.
They are dead, but I heard this stat too. I think the Clippers have played 18 best-of-7 series. This is the only time they've ever been down 3-1.
Wow, that's actually impressive. Chris Paul can't win you a whole lot of playoff series, but he can at least keep you from getting swept. I think Clippers are dead. I mean, as much as you want to say it, the Clippers may steal a game just because of how gritty they are. But I know I just watched Game 4, and it seemed like the Clippers were playing better than the Warriors. But every single time that the Warriors just wanted to score, they scored. So, Clippers are dead. Magic, down 3-1 to the Raptors. Are the Magic dead or alive?
Dead.
Yeah, they're dead. They got that first game, I think, and then now the series is looking how it should.
Yeah, I agree. So, guys, Thunder, down 3-1 to the Blazers. Are the Thunder dead or alive?
I'm really excited for you to tell me here in a second how it's all going to come together in the 87th game of the season, but I think they're dead.
They're dead, and they're not. Yeah, they're dead.
They're alive, boys.
Well, breathing strong.
They beat this team 4 times during the regular season. The Blazers never beat them during the regular season. Now it comes into the postseason, and all of a sudden, I know this team can't shoot threes anyways, But, like, every single time down the court, whenever I was watching in Game 4, I was even texting late, and I'm like, this team's so pathetic. They run down the court, they shoot a three. They can't shoot, but they continue to shoot. And if this team just does not shoot a three-pointer for the remainder of the series, this team's alive. But if they continue to shoot threes, your best three-point shooter is probably Paul George, and he can't feel his arm, so that's not very conducive to success when you're shooting a basketball. If they just keep driving the basketball, I think they're alive. I think they could still come back and win the series, but they're going to continue to shoot threes. That's going to make them dead.
The problem I see is, well, there are a lot of problems, but as I was watching the game, their offense was exactly what you said. It was either Paul George or Russell Westbrook are going to play one-on-one and put up a shot, or they're going to drive and kick to the corners, which was Ferguson and Grant shooting a three.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's just not the team doesn't look very good.
Who do you blame this on? Okay, because there's a lot of things you can throw blame at here. So they're paying a ton of people a ton of money on this roster. I think they may actually have like the highest payroll in the NBA.
They're in the luxury tax.
They're way into the luxury tax. Is this team's do you think it's the players' fault that they continue to play it a certain way that they're not supposed to play? Or do you think it's management's fault for putting the wrong kind of players around Russell Westbrook and Paul George?
So I'm kind of ready to change the record on anybody saying how Westbrook is destroying the team. The guy added a triple-double. Yeah, it's not efficient, but he's had a triple-double come to the playoffs doing that. Now it's not working. At some point in time, I think you look at Billy Donovan, and he need to figure out some kind of rotation or something that work together to be conducive on winning games in the playoffs. Because Billy Donovan, this is his, third or fourth year coaching the Thunder? And he's had 2 All-NBA players. He's never got it done.
Well, here's my thing with Billy Donovan. Like, you can't blame Billy Donovan for his rotation of guys. Because he has Nerlens Noel, he has Ferguson, he has Jeremy Grant. Like, nobody on this team can shoot. Steven Adams cannot shoot if it's not a dunk. Like, none of these guys on his team can shoot, so what's he going to do? Like, he knows that Westbrook and Paul George are going to play one-on-one basketball and drive every single time because that's what they've done throughout their whole entire career. But he has nobody he can put out there to shoot. Maybe Patrick Patterson?
I don't know if he logged a minute last night.
They cannot. Nobody can shoot.
Yeah, that was... I like, Grant and Ferguson are coming along. They're a lot better players than they were. Like, they're developing, but... I don't know. I can't buy into this. Their identity is defense for sure. And
yeah.
They're just honestly, the Portland is just making shots. Their best 2 players, and then Aminu had a really good game too. But really, their best 2 players are making shots when it matter, and the Thunder's best 2 players aren't.
Yeah, and if you think about it as well, like you said, Aminu had a big game on Game 4. You look back to Game 1, it was Enes Kanter. Like, when are the Thunder going to get a big game out of somebody other than Paul George and Russell Westbrook?
Nerlens Noel is legitimately just out there as a rim protector. I don't know what else he does.
Dude, he can't do anything
He had like an 8-foot shot the other day, not anywhere near him, just clanked it. It's like, if you're trying to win a playoff series, you've got to be making those easy ones.
I've never seen a player like lose so much lateral quickness like he has. Like, it seems like he's still very athletic, but I feel like he just cannot move side to side anymore.
No, back whenever he was in Kentucky, dude, like, he could swat out the sun.
He's still a good shot blocker.
The sun. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know who to blame here, but the blame obviously has to go on somebody for... I mean, you're losing to the Blazers, and nobody loses to the Blazers in the postseason.
So you think the Thunder still have a chance?
Yes, I do. They're going to come back. They're going to win this in 7 games, just like I predicted.
You're thinking the 87th game, like, I don't know, home do the math real quick, 173rd game together, they're going to figure this thing out?
Yes. Westbrook's 173rd game with Paul George. They will get it going, and they're going to go to the finals.
No give up on a take. The game of takes you don't want to give up on?
Yes, I do, actually.
It was all a dream. I used to read up magazines.
John Gruden, Mike Mayock. So confident in their last 3 months of work, they dismissed every scout from the war room. John, these guys are rookies, not 35-year-old quarterbacks. You're out of your league. NFL schedule release, where we pick which teams will win what games, even though the teams have only decided about 15 of their possible 22 starters. The NFL will kick off with their draft this Thursday, and if you haven't done a clean sweep of your Twitter account, that's on you. Sunday's NFL story headlines. Ex-player tweeted this when he was 7. Hunter Renfrow is a Patriot, and the Raiders lost the draft. I'm about to tell you the funniest joke I've ever said. Luke Kennard, Thon Maker, Andre Drummond, Wayne Ellington, and Reggie Jackson. That was the Pistons starting lineup in Game 2 of an NBA playoff series. Kevin Durant, Said he can score on Patrick Beverley every time he has the ball. Kevin Durant. Do it. Indiana Pacers got eliminated from the postseason on April 22nd, 2018. Their season was actually over January 23rd, 2018. LeBron James, now going to test his hand in producing boxing documentaries. LeBron, the only knockout you've seen this year was the Nets knocking you out of the playoffs. Joel Embiid, one boring Twitter account from being everyone's most hated player. How do you make Kyle Lowry disappear? Start the NBA playoffs. Chris Davis, better pitcher than hitter. Chris Davis, it did not take much. And there's a new movie out this week, and it's titled The Hurt Locker, and it was directed by the New York Yankees. And those have been my thoughts. So guys, we only have one playoff series that is not a 3-0, 3-1 deficit, which is actually really a bummer. We have the Spurs and the Nuggets. Series is tied 2-2. It's a 3-game series basically from here on out. Nuggets have home court advantage. Who is going to win this series?
I'm going to go with the Spurs. So,
it's about time. Time to come around.
Both these teams have awesome home records. I think the Nuggets are 34-7 and the Spurs are 32-9 at home.
Wow.
So they basically be taking the Spurs experience, which I guess they put as just Pop's experience. There's them stealing one more game in Denver and then they'll win the game at home. And honestly, I think in 6 games, I think it's probably the next 2 games, and they'll put for Game 7.
I think the Nuggets are going to win this series. The Spurs are 16-25 on the road this year, and Denver was 34-7 at home, like he said. It's really just a 3-game series now, and they've got 2 games at home. I think and they just won in San Antonio. I think the momentum is with them. I think they're a better team too.
See, I think I'm going to have to go with the Spurs because I don't see the Spurs losing 2 games at home. So I think the Spurs will win this next game at home. Then they're going to go on the road, play Denver, a team that they've beaten the postseason once already.
All the series are 2-1, or it's no.
It's 2-1. It's 1-1-1 from here on out.
Yeah,
so.
it just goes.
Oh, it's 1-1-1.
The higher seed is at home in Game 5. Yeah.
See, oh wow.
Yes.
Well, okay. Since we haven't had any Game 5s, that would make sense that I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Still, I'm staying with the Spurs.
Stay on the take.
Staying on it. I can't give up on it.
Every thought he had before that just got changed.
Here's what I'm going to say, and it stays true because the Spurs have one of the home games in this thing. So I think the Nuggets will win the first game in Denver, and then the Spurs will go ahead and win Game 6 because the Spurs will not lose at home twice in a row to the Nuggets. And then Game 7 comes down to experience and coaching, and I have to take Popovich in that. I know none of the players on this Spurs team, outside of like really Patty Mills, has huge postseason success, but they've all been there. Like DeRozan's played in the postseason, Aldridge played in the postseason, Rudy Gay has played in the postseason just a couple times, but still, the experience is there. I think the Nuggets are about a year away from actually being taken serious as a contender for this, so I will actually go with the Spurs. It doesn't matter where the games are. Popovich in 7, always. So guys, let's go ahead and bury the Pacers. This is a sad moment. Every year in the NBA playoffs, I have to give up on the Pacers for the season. Guys, how will we remember this team following the sweep of the Celtics?
Very, very easy. We won't.
Exactly.
Yeah, not at all. It could be, I don't know, very unfortunate. Like, yeah, Oladipo, I'm not going to say you guys will beat the Celtics because they didn't get swept, so you're hard saying you beat them. But odds are you wouldn't have to be playing them because you have the 3 seed.
Yes.
And it's in conference, so it just sucks. Sucky. There you go.
It's just going to be remembered as like a what if
Yes.
Oladipo didn't get hurt. That's the only thing.
I really think this team, I don't think they could have beat the Bucks, but I think they could have given everybody else a series except for the Bucks. And, going forward with this Pacers team, a bunch of people are talking about like how the Clippers have all this money and all these good young players. I was talking to Fletch on the phone after the Pacers got eliminated. I mean, outside of having a large market that LA has, what's really the difference between the Clippers and the Pacers? Both are teams that probably over-succeeded this year, if you include what happened to Victor Oladipo. They over-succeeded. They have a star that the Clippers don't have. Do you see that the Pacers possibly being a destination for any big stars to go?
So, it's going to be hard.
It would surprise me.
I'm going to be really shocked by it, 'cause what I've heard and how many big market teams have money right now.
Yeah.
It's scary. Like, you guys have money at the worst possible time for the Pacers to have money.
Yeah, I agree, actually, because every other team has money and we don't.
If the Knicks have money and Lakers have money and Clippers have money.
Yeah, and you think about the way that the Pacers have built their teams, like every single one of their good players over the last few years. Roy Hibbert, they drafted him. David West was actually like kind of nobody really wanted him, so we got him.
This worked out really well.
Yeah,
with
Danny
what Portland
Granger,
did.
Paul George. We traded for Victor Oladipo. Like everybody was drafted. They never get free agents, so I think it's going to be hard for that team to take a step forward next year. So, guys, we'll go ahead and go to the 76ers antics. Kind of odd whenever you think about a team that you think could win the postseason. It started with the elbow that Joel Embiid threw on Jarrett Allen, which was like the most obvious elbow of all time. Then the team sat up at the podium, laughed about it. Then in the following game, in Game 4, there was a flagrant foul on Joel Embiid. And then Jimmy Butler ran up on Jarrett Dudley, Jarrett Dudley ran up on Joel Embiid. Jimmy Butler comes up, pushes him, gets ejected. And then, again, the 76ers get up on the podium and laugh. What does this make you think about the 76ers following all of these antics?
So, the 76ers are, as an organization, I don't know about it, on the roster, they're very, very, very fragile. Like, what that means, like, think back to the Seahawks in 2012 and 13.
Yes.
So they were really good, and they were beating everybody. And Richard Sherman got on national television, and you know, Michael Crabtree, everybody started hanging for it. They thought it was antics. We all knew they had big personalities, and that's when they first started to come out, because they knew they were good. That's happening right now. And if they start to lose games, they're just going to get arguing with each other, and it's not going to be good. And it's going to be the same thing as Seahawks. Shit has to change. And I don't see Russell Wilson on that team to keep it together.
Yes.
So,
I
Ben
agree.
Simmons, step up to the plate.
I'm really not liking. I'm starting to. It's not even from a basketball standpoint anymore. I'm really starting to dislike the 76ers.
Me too.
And it's like not even a Ben Simmons problem. I don't have a problem with Ben Simmons, honestly. I really don't like the look that Embiid puts off. He's not even. He acts like he's the most dominant player in the NBA, but he can have those super inefficient nights too, with a bunch of turnovers, not a very good field goal percentage, just like anybody else can. Like he's not that. Like people were saying he was the best player in the East at some points this year. I just can't buy into that. And then Jimmy Butler is like it's like he spent too much time in Chicago. Maybe he was around Jerry Springer when he was living there. I don't know, but it's like it's so much drama. He can't go anywhere without just stirring up some shit.
I agree. It's
just
a bad look.
And maybe I don't discount the fact that they can still have success this postseason, but it's high drama for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Joel Embiid saying that like he's the most dominant player, like you said. Like if you are taller than 6'10", you cannot be the most dominant player in basketball if you don't shoot 50%. Like, and Joel Embiid, it wipes you out of that equation altogether. And then just the way that they like carry themselves and the way that they go on with this stuff. Like, guys, it's Jared Dudley. Like, what are you doing? Jimmy Butler has to have some kind of awareness there. Like, he's like, oh, don't go up and push my big man. It's like, listen, Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid is much bigger than you. He can fend for himself. Mm-hmm. Plus, if you go after Jared Dudley and you get ejected, you mean more to your team than Jared Dudley does. Like, that's what the Nets want you to do. Patrick Beverley, he would be happy every single game if him and Kevin Durant got put out of the game, because guess what? Kevin Durant means a lot more to the Warriors than what Patrick Beverley does to the Clippers. I don't see how this team continues to try to just pick battles whenever they should be worried about the war. They should be worried about winning the championship, not trying to beat the Nuggets in close games like this. I think it's a bad look. They're struggling with the Nuggets. You can't get too high on yourself. Or the Nets. They're struggling with the Nets. It is absolutely a bad look for the 76ers.
They would play the Raptors in the next round, right?
Correct.
It just seems like all the other teams that I'm impressed with, or that we're impressed with, it's just like, it's all business. They're just trying to win games. That's why they're there. And
the Raptors are the exact opposite of the 76ers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, can the 76ers win a championship? Sure, they have talent to.
Yeah, they have more than enough.
But they can't do this shit against the Raptors.
No, and Diesel had a good point. Like every other team that we take serious, like shows up every single day, like they mean business. You look at the Spurs, you look at the Raptors, you look at the Bucks, you look at the Warriors. I know the Warriors have done some odd shit in the past, like Draymond kicking a dude in the nuts. Like, guess what happens? He got ousted in the postseason. Once he stopped doing that shit, they immediately just go to just total dominant basketball. So, do you think that the 76ers can win the East?
I think they can, yeah.
Do you think...
I don't think they will, but I think they can.
I don't think I don't think they have a prayer.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they have a prayer at this point.
I think there may be like a 1% shot if they got super, super hot. Like, I don't even know if...
I think the Raptors are sitting right around a 40.
And again, it's prisoner of the moment a little bit too. Honestly, no, it's not. I think there are probably 3 teams in the East that I would rather pick over.
I mean, could you pick them over the Celtics?
I like what I see with the Celtics more than I do the 76ers right now.
The Celtics took care of business. Didn't get any goofy shit. Marcus Smart wasn't on the court.
Granted, that wasn't like the most impressive sweep, but it's still a sweep.
Yeah, a sweep's a sweep. I mean, going and beat the Pacers.
Crap came out of it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even whenever the Pacers were at home without Oladipo, they still played good basketball, and Celtics took care of business. I don't know. I'm sure we'll hear about Brandon with this one.
Just don't like to look.
It's definitely not a good look. And the bad thing is, I liked this team.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the season, I'm like, they have so many awesome personalities. They add Jimmy Butler, just another guy that I like his personality. And then they get Tobias Harris, which is like the most under the radar guy you could get. That's a 20-point scorer. And they have a bunch of stuff you like. But as what I've seen lately, it's making me not like them. I don't know. Maybe it's a personal thing, but I don't think that they have a chance. So, guys, we'll go ahead and go to the NFL Draft. And with the number 1 pick of the NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select...
I think they trade it.
You think they trade it?
I do.
Wow.
Well, the report came out yesterday that they were not going to take Kyler Murray. And I read 2 reports about that today. So I'm looking at the top 3 guys, not Kyler Murray, Nick Bosa, Quinn Williams, and Josh Allen. Why don't you trade back 2 spots to the Jets? Because what if the Jets really want Nick Bosa?
Yeah.
And so that, hey, just come... trade with us, he gives that pick, get 2 more picks, we'll come down to 3 and take the best guy left between Bosa, Williams, and Allen. I think they trade it.
I think it's still going to be Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I do too. I think that it's, last year, dude, we didn't know it was going to be Baker until like the day of the draft. Mm-hmm. And nobody gave Baker a prayer to get it. And they have to trade Josh Rosen.
Yeah. One thing I feel like is super common in these NFL drafts is like if a team does something early on and it works, and other teams are totally willing to repeat that and do it again.
Oh yeah,
like Ezekiel Elliott got Leonard Fournette drafted high, he got Saquon Barkley drafted high, and then I think with Baker, there's so many similarities with Heisman and Oklahoma and all of that. I think Arizona's going to do the same thing.
Yeah, I think it has to be Kyler Murray. I mean, everybody wants to talk about how athletic he is and he runs around too much. 92% of his passes last year were within the pocket. The guy's a pocket passer who just happens to be like 4 foot tall and can run around. Like, I think I would be very, very surprised if it's anything other than Kyler Murray going number 1. So, guys, what players do we see sneaking into the first round that may not be on the top of mock drafts?
So this is one guy that I talked about way long time ago. I think during college football people still N'Keal Harry, the receiver from Arizona State. He basically did not progress. He had the same stats junior to this sophomore year, but he was healthy. He's not a burner guy at all. So I'm looking down the bottom of the draft, looking at a team like the Packers or a team like the Colts at pick 26. Put him opposite of T.Y. Hilton, get Andrew Luck, keep that offense. Get between that offense. I think N'Keal Harry would be a very good pick for them at pick 26.
I think Daniel Jones or Drew Lock, one of those quarterbacks. I mean, you can definitely find mocks where in the first round, but you're going to find some where they're not too. But I think a team that gets to, really once you get past, I don't know, when you get into that, 14 to 15 range, you start getting into, you can definitely fall into a spot where you don't like any players up there. And I could see a team just liking one of these quarterbacks more than they like what they could get at, 15 to 20, something in that range, 15 to 30.
Yeah. My guy that I can sneak. So originally, I put this guy as my sneaky player, a guy that I thought would, kind of fly under the radar, go 3rd round, and then recently they've been come out with a lot of stuff of how much teams actually like this guy. So he's no longer going to fly under the radar, and if teams are starting to get on board with this guy, I think he's going to go late 1st round, and if he doesn't go late 1st round, he will go very early 2nd round. And that's Darrell Henderson from Memphis. He's 5'8", 208 pounds, and he's a running back. 6th fastest 40 at the combine. So he got that big, thick body, ran a 4.49, had 1,900 rushing yards last season, and had back-to-back seasons of 8.9 yards per carry with 22 rushing touchdowns. I mean, the guy's a freak. Reminds me a lot of like a Devontae Freeman, Maurice Jones-Drew style guy with his build and his actual speed being so short. And really, I could see the Chiefs getting him at 29 because I don't think Damian Williams is going to be the answer for them going into next year. Like, you know, the Chiefs, they did air it out, but they also have to have a running attack to balance it out. Andy Reid does like running the ball quite a bit. And, you know, Henderson's not a guy. He is a guy that wasn't, you know, it wouldn't be a shock to him in college if he got 25 carries in a game. Like, he is built to get multiple, you know, carries in a fourth quarter, basically clock out a drive. And, you know, as a receiver, he's also pretty good. Didn't catch a whole lot of balls, but he caught 19 last year, 15.5 yards per catch. So probably one of the most explosive guys in the draft. And I would love to see him go to an explosive team like the Chiefs. I think another good fit would be the Saints. Saints don't have a first-round pick. Bears don't have a pick in the first 2 rounds. I think he'd be a really good fit there. Philly, they're always looking to acquire running backs. And Oakland. I think if Oakland used him as their third first-round pick, I think they would get a pretty good player there, seeing that Isaiah Crowell is going to be the running back for next season if they don't get anybody else. So, guys, what player do we see that was originally projected to go high fall?
So, I'm going to go with Ed Oliver out of Houston. I've seen him go mock draft from Detroit at 8 all the way down to the Vikings at 18. Ed Oliver declared for this year's draft last April, before the first draft even happened.
Before he took a snap.
So he knew he was going to go to the draft. Basically, as soon as Tom Herman left Houston, he said adios.
Yeah.
So, Ed Oliver, he looks much off the line. He's undersized, though, kind of like Aaron Donald. Not saying he's Aaron Donald, but there's somebody who's all there with him. And kind of did it on clowning. Everybody knew he was going to go pro. You kind of saw him put like a disco at times, take plays off, not always be there. When he wanted to, he destroyed any play. And that's what Oliver did all season long. He knew he was gone. He knew Houston was going to get the playoff. So he said, I'm just going to stay healthy. I'm going to play the season out. I think actually at one point he missed, 4 or 5 games in a row? He sat out a lot of the season, too.
Yeah, he sat out a lot of the season.
So, Ed Oliver, I think the other team gets him. It's going to be an absolute steal.
Because their new coach actually made him take a jacket off. He was the number 1 player in the country, and he was the first player ever to go to a non-Power 5 school being the number 1 recruit. Mm-hmm. And then he missed a couple games because he was injured. He had one of the jackets on that they wear whenever they're not playing.
Yeah.
And their coach ran him down on the sidelines and made him take his jacket off.
All right. I didn't know that, but
Yeah,
Ed Oliver was honestly not committed to Houston this season.
No, absolutely not.
Hope he gets to the NFL. Like, he's a really good player.
I've got Juwan Taylor as a tackle from Florida. I saw him as high as like 6 at one point. I don't think that's going to happen.
Holy smokes.
They had him way up there, or at least in the top 10. And I think DK Metcalf had like 48 hours of rising up boards, and then people are realizing, that was just a little bit of a tease.
Yeah, that was a huge tease. Dude, there for a while, he was going like number 8 to Buffalo or something like that.
I saw the top 2 after the combine.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a stretch. I think DK Metcalf's a guy that like for sure will fall. My guy that I think is going to fall, I'm gonna go ahead and give a bold prediction. Dwayne Haskins doesn't go in the first round.
It's a very bold prediction.
Yeah, and here's why. I think people jumped all over the fact that his stats were really, really nice, that his the build was there, like the guy's big, he's strong, and his stats were incredible. But if you noticed, he's fallen down draft boards once people watch tape. Mm-hmm. Like, if you watch Ohio State play at all this year, you could you would recognize how good of a job Urban Meyer did with that team for one. Like, the way that they put players in position to succeed was phenomenal. And two, every single pass the guy threw that was a completion was within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. And in the NFL, you can't do that. Like, you have to be able to extend the ball down the field. Otherwise, you're going to get yourself in a tight spot a lot. I think that there's multiple quarterbacks that are better than him. I think that I would probably put him at 4. And if you look at the makeup of the draft, after 17, there's not a team that's sitting there saying that we definitely need a quarterback to start right away, a first-round kind of guy. You have the Dolphins, you have the Redskins, and you have Oakland. I don't think Oakland was going to go with a first-round quarterback. I would be really surprised if Washington did it. And I really think that the Dolphins are going to ride out a year with Fitzpatrick before they actually go try to get another quarterback.
Think so?
Yeah, I do. I mean, dude, Fitzpatrick actually played pretty well last year. The Dolphins were a fringe playoff team until about 3 weeks left in the season. I mean, you know, it's got to be a step up from the Brockett ship, which we saw for most of the season for that team. So I'm gonna boldly predict Dwayne Haskins falls out of the first round. So guys, who will be the steal of draft weekend?
Kind of follow the draft. The steal's going to be Ed Oliver. Clearly good. He's going to produce this season. He only played 8 games. He only had 2 fewer tackles full loss than he did last season, and he was right on pace to blow out all of his other secure categories had he played. And he's going to fall, but he's going to be an absolute steal.
I've got 2 steals. One, I'm going to butcher the name, but it's Banogu. I don't know how to say his name. Banogu. But he's from TCU. He's an edge rusher. He was all Big 12 first team 2 years in a row. He had some monster stats both of the last 2 years. He's really just a playmaker. I think that's one. He's not going to go in the first round or anything. But then the second one is TJ Hawkinson from Iowa. If you think about, like, you might balk at the idea of taking a tight end so early, but if you think about some of the teams in the league, the Chiefs have Travis Kelce. The Colts now use Ebron a lot. George Kittle's pretty good. Granted, the 49ers weren't great. But then the Eagles, they basically use a 2 tight end attack to replace their receivers. I mean, not every team uses tight ends to run their offense, but a lot of them do, and they do it pretty well. So I think it could be a similar. He could be an impact player.
Yeah, you missed one team that's used a lot of tight ends too that's been decently successful. The Patriots.
Yeah, it's very true.
So it might be smart to go ahead and just get a good tight end and get it out of the way. My steal of the draft, I'm going to go with Will Grier if he falls out of the first round. I see a lot of stuff. People are talking about, he doesn't have the arm strength to be good in the NFL. Well, I mean, throws over 10 yards. He had the highest passer rating in college football. And I don't know about you, but I would rather have a guy who can throw that pass 10 to 40 yards instead of just cock back and throw it 500 yards down the field. That doesn't do you any good. Just look at Josh Allen, look at Jamarcus Russell. Like, arm strength does matter, but it's not that big of a deal. Look at Tom Brady, still having success in the NFL. His arm's almost completely gone. Peyton Manning won a Super Bowl and he couldn't even tie his own shoes. Drew Brees does not have arm strength anymore, but he's still able to be successful. If you have a quarterback that's efficient throwing the ball from 10 to 30 yards, that's still going to stretch out defenses and do what it needs to. I don't think people are going to sit there and look at, can Will Grier throw the ball 50 yards down the field standing still? That does you nothing. I think if Will Grier falls out of the first round, I think he'll be a steal. I could honestly see the Patriots dipping back into the quarterback lock there, too, with him.
See, I don't think they got the first round. I think him or Drew Lock will go to the Patriots. Or Daniel Jones.
I think it'll be...
In that order, Lock...
As I was looking at Jones, he's 6'5", 220, and his 40 time was 4'8", so he can move a little bit for being that big, but his completion percentage was 59%, so that almost screams Josh Allen, but he had a lot better quarterback coach, so I'm kind of torn.
Yeah, I agree with that. That is kind of weird. I'm not huge on a lot of these quarterbacks, though. I think Will Grier is probably... I think Will Grier will be the second most successful out of all these guys.
I can see it, yeah.
Kyler Murray, then him. I think Drew Lock...
Kyler Murray goes to Arizona, that might not work. He can flame out, too.
Yeah, I like Drew Lock a little bit. I like Dwayne Haskins probably more than I like Daniel Jones, but... I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. I think if a team lands on Will Grier early in the second round, maybe the Saints trade up and nab him or something like that, I think it could get really interesting with Will Grier. So, guys, the Raiders actually are the first team since 2001 Rams that have 3 first-round picks. And they actually just sent every single one of their scouts home from the war room. They said that they didn't know who they could trust. Bad time to realize that. I guess it's good to catch it early than late. So it basically leaves the coaching staff and Mike Mayock in the war room. Basically, John Gruden across the table from Mike Mayock making the picks. Guys, what the hell?
I don't get it. I mean, who hires the scouts?
That's a good question.
It's the GM of the head coach, right?
You would think.
It's one of those two guys.
Owner?
So either Mike Mayock and John Gruden are just convinced after they've 1 year off of talking on television, they have figured out the new NFL.
They've got
and all these scouts know nothing. So they don't even know what they want to do. I can only imagine what's going to happen on Thursday with this.
I read 2 or 3 reports that it's not uncommon for teams to do that, where they send all the scouts home. But
This is the first time I've ever seen it.
But again, I don't really know. I only saw like two people that said that, so I'm not sure how credible that is. But until the Raiders prove me otherwise, I'm definitely a skeptic.
Yeah, I'm definitely skeptical as well. I think this makes no sense. Like, you look at this and you think, like, why did you have those guys there in the first place? Like, did you not realize this months ago? Do you think that these scouts, like, if it's a matter of trust, do you think that these scouts are intentionally giving you bad advice? Because whenever you're an NFL scout, you're basically looking for your next job while you're an NFL scout. Mm-hmm. Because at some time, you're going to be without a job, and you need another job to go to. Why are they going to give them bad advice, look bad on them, and then come back around and be looking for another job in 2-3 weeks?
Maybe they're trying to start a coup within the organization so the scouts overthrow the GM and the head coach.
That could be what it is. One of the scouts is coming for John Gruden's job, even though he's the $100 million man. Second thing here, guys, what does this team have to do on draft weekend to make this whole process worth it?
So the thing they have is draft 2 players that make immediate impacts for them, and then on top of that, they have to get 5 to 6 solid starters that will be able to start for them for the next 3 or 4 seasons. Meaning they have 3 first round. They have 8 picks in the first 35. Is that right?
They have 4. I think it's 4 picks in the first 35.
4 picks in the 35. So that's some insane stat. They have a lot of 1 through 3 round picks.
Yeah, I think really with like the top of the draft, they've got 2 options. I think they'll either trade up for the first pick. If they don't do that, which I think is probably more likely not to do that, they'll take one of those defensive stars, or like Allen or Bosa or Williams or somebody at the top, and then I think they'll probably take a corner somewhere in the first round too. I think one of their other picks is 27. You could maybe have like Greedy Williams, or Baker will be there maybe. And then after that, maybe running back. But the team's got a lot of needs. I think they've got to have a mix. With having so many picks, they've got to have a mix of safe and splash. Like, you can't miss the whole draft, but you've got to take a little bit of risk here, too.
Yeah,
I think they can balance their attack a little bit and get some starters out of it that might just be consistent guys for 5-10 years and maybe get some superstars.
I feel like, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, in order to come out ahead in this, you have to get a Pro Bowl caliber player and a All-Pro caliber player in the first round.
Well,
you have to get 2 separate.
They already recouped one All-Pro player.
Who's that?
Well, Antonio Brown. They did.
That's true.
That counts for something. Because that's part of the process.
That is part of the process. That does help a little bit.
Granted, I think his best years are behind him, but
they still could have pulled off that trade without trading Khalil Mack.
Very true.
And Amari Cooper. So I still think that, they could have had 3 guys who are 3 guys that are locked to be a Pro Bowl every single year there. So I think they still have to get 2 Pro Bowlers there early. I think what would be interesting is if you said the Cardinals want to trade back, they could trade back a couple spots. Oakland jumps up, uses their first pick of the second round and the pick that they have now in order to get Kyler Murray. Then you trade Derek Carr for a first-round pick.
What's his contract look like?
I know he's signed for several more years.
I think it's $18 million a year.
Yeah, it's not one of those huge deals like Russell Wilson just got. Like, it's a pretty friendly deal for a guy who
No, it's more than I just said. He's going to make so the cap hit on him is $22.5 million through 2022.
That's not too terrible.
That's not bad.
They could definitely trade out. I think they could get up, if they want a different quarterback, trade up to 1, get the quarterback you want, then go ahead and shop Derek Carr, maybe send him to the Dolphins, who, could potentially be looking for a long-term answer.
Yeah, but they're not going to trade the 12th pick for Derek Carr.
You've seen teams do stupider shit before, dude. We've seen a team trade for Sam Bradford for the first-round pick.
Yeah, but this is a new regime. They're not going to do that first real day on the job.
I don't know, man. I think it's realistic. But I think in order for the Raiders to win, you have to get 2 guys that are Pro Bowlers in the first round. First and second round, you have to get 2 guys that are going to be Pro Bowlers. Otherwise, it's just a flop.
Whether they trade up to get the number 1 pick, or they take, what are they at 3?
Yeah, they're at 3.
Yeah, they can't miss that pick.
No, you cannot miss that pick. That has to be a home run pick.
Good.
I think this is going to be interesting. I think we're going to be sitting here this time next week laughing at this team.
I got an update today saying I'll be ready for a, quote, surprise at number 4. Mike Mayock said surprise to some reporter.
Oh, no. This is going to be bad.
So get ready for that.
Yeah, this is going to be bad. So, guys, what is your favorite draft day memory?
So this is the stage for you guys. It's 2009. I'm a prime 15-year-old man. 15-year young man. So I'm about as invested at this draft as I have been in any draft before or after it. Matthew Stafford number 1 overall. I thought he was really good. He could throw the ball 1,000 yards. There's a wide receiver out of Maryland who knew pretty good combine numbers. He was 6'2", 210 pounds, 4'3", 40. I remember seeing in mock drafts, because I a lot of mock drafts this year, he was going into the first round. And not only was it good memory, because I also learned a bit about NFL regimes that day. With the 7th pick overall, the Raiders took Darius Hayward-Bay.
I knew where that was going.
And that's the day I learned that Al Davis really loved guys who were tall and fast. Well, rookie year at Darius Hayward-Bay, playing 11 games, caught 9 balls for 124 yards. His best season was in 2011. He caught 64 passes for 975 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, for that bust, benefit of the memory.
Dude, actually, I'm going to follow up on that. I was reading, because Darius Hayward-Bay was an interesting tale, because everybody knew that the Raiders were going to take him. And actually, he actually had a third-round grade on him. Going into that draft, he had a third-round grade. Like almost every single analyst, anybody that used to be like a GM that would release any of their stuff, they said that Darius Hayward-Bay was a third-round wide receiver. Al Davis took him at 7. God rest his soul. Al Davis. Never ceased to amaze. Deese, what is your favorite draft day memory?
I didn't watch this draft because I was just too young to be invested in it, but looking back at it now, it's probably the last time the Steelers ever traded up to get anybody, but 2003, they traded up to get Troy Polamalu in the first round, and that obviously worked out pretty well for them.
Yeah, that is
I'm praying like hell that they trade up this year to get a linebacker, but I don't think they're going to.
Dude, they need to. That'd be nice.
Yeah, they have 10 draft picks, so...
That's better than the Bears, man. The Bears don't pick till round 3.
Yeah. What's it like for you? Like, are you even excited for Thursday?
No.
What about Friday?
I'll start to get excited.
Yeah.
I think that the Bears need to go ahead and trade up and get Darrell Henderson. If he's there in the second round, trade your next 2 picks for him.
Well, you say that, but you just got Mike Davis.
Yeah, Mike Davis isn't the answer. I can promise you that. My favorite memory, Laramie Tunsil.
Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
So I remember I was sitting there watching the draft and seriously, this is no kidding. They had the ticker up there for the first pick of the draft. It was probably like within an hour of this thing kicking off. Adam Schefter comes blaring across there. He's like, guys, we have some interesting news coming out of
I call it
Ole Miss. Very interesting. Bam. Video. Laramie Tunsil in a gas mask sitting there smoking what people have assumed to be weed, more than likely. And he's just sitting there just ripping this gas mask. That... I don't think was my favorite part of it. The fact that the Dolphins still took him at 13 was my favorite thing about it.
Hasn't he been pretty good, though?
He has been good.
Really good.
But that's a gut check reaction, dude. It's like you have one pick in the first round to get this thing right, and
We're going to take old boy with the bad publicity.
Yes, we're going to immediately just make a splash pick, pull this guy into the locker room, and how near was this to the incident with Richie Incognito?
Thank God it was after. He would have been bullied.
Yeah, but it would no. But I'm saying that they had a problem with linemen before having character issues, and then they have a Pouncey brother on the team to help things out, and then you bring this guy in. Dude, that was the most ballsy pick probably in NFL draft history.
Well, you see, what happened was they said, okay, we have Richie Incognito, very good lineman, but he's really a broke kind of a dickhead. We know this guy's chill.
Yeah.
So he's really good too. Let's bring him. Hope he passes the drug test when they come up. But did you hear what Pat McAfee? It might be true, and I hear what he said about the whole tunnel situation.
Oh yeah, he said he had to have the best lungs in the league.
Yeah, he told to take a number whatever overall. He had the best lungs in the league.
That was funny. But no, I still think that they went out, spent that 13th over. Like, everybody was just sitting there because Tunsil was supposed to go in the top 10, top 5, potentially. And everybody was just sitting there waiting for Tunsil to get picked. Interesting. Could you imagine sitting in the green room and somebody just like texts you and says, "Oh no, man, this isn't good," and then like that video comes across your phone, like you can't leave the green room, and you're just basically just gonna sit there and bake.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought about this, but imagine if that was Eric Fisher, who no ball to the Chiefs. How far does he fall?
He would have fell too.
But did he fall farther than Tunsil fell?
Probably not, because people thought Fisher was more of a lock to be good. Yeah,
You got reversed on him.
yeah. Spoiler alert: he wasn't.
Full Eric Fisher, not good.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. So guys, today we're going to switch it up from darts. We're actually going to stay with the classic rock segment train here, and we're going to play a game. It is called Who Are You? So the way that this is going to work, guys, we know how the NBA draft works. It is a very weird process. A ton of guys declare that should not be declaring, and you guys probably aren't going to know a lot of the players that I'm going to show you. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to know 0 of them.
So it's a fun game, man.
Yeah. I have stats and stuff that makes it more interesting. So, basically, it's very similar to I show weight in a picture, but we're going to try this out. So, the game is called Who Are You? And you're not allowed to look at the top of my screen because it's going to show you who the player actually is. But, without further ado...
It's coming. Okay, here we go.
You don't look at the top.
Okay, so we went to Florida Gulf Coast University.
Do you see this player?
I see him.
I do see this player.
Do you know who he is?
I do not.
No.
Okay. So, this player. He's Troy Baxter. After 1 season at UNLV and getting 1 start, he took his talents to Florida Gulf Coast, where he started 17 of 32 contests. Troy is said to be a shooter, shooting over 100 threes this season and only making 29. He will have to improve on his 40% field goal percentage, and in less than 20 minutes per game, he led the team in personal fouls, and he had 2 turnovers per game. Troy Baxter averaged 7 points, 3 rebounds per game this season.
Let's hope he didn't sign an agent.
Yes, I agree. So, player number 2 that I will pull up for you guys. This is actually, he is an international player.
Okay, so it has to know this guy.
I'm actually going to show you a picture of him playing in Australia. You may know this guy. Do you know this player?
Is that Dragon Bender's brother?
I do not.
He does look a lot like Dragon Bender. This player is actually a freshman from Creighton. His name, a freshman from Creighton, declared for the draft. He's from Australia. So it's Samson Frawling. He is entering the NBA draft with 0 career starts, but he did appear in all 30 games and managed to snag 9 minutes per game. And he parlayed that to 3.6 points per game, 1.9 rebounds, and 1.1 turnover, and 1.2 personal fouls. He shot 38% from the free throw stripe, and had 11 total blocks this season, despite the fact that he is 7 foot tall.
So,
He had 11 blocks on this
30 games?
season. In 30 games. And he played in every single game. Freshman from Creighton, Samson Frawling. Guys, be looking for him early in the draft, maybe the lottery.
when they're done, they back out of the draft?
You can back out after the draft if you don't get picked, as long as you do not sign a
Agent. Okay.
As long as you do not sign.
Okay, so that's better. I don't judge them for their choices as much now, knowing that.
Yeah.
I think.
But still, I mean, why do that to yourself? You know you're not going to get picked, right?
I'm just gonna go out on a limb here, and say they probably don't like class a whole lot.
Yeah, they said I can go make a minimum in the NBA.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you can go to the G League and make like $30,000 or $25,000. I don't even know what they make.
Just
Okay.
not in class.
Third player. Do you know this man?
No.
No, I do not. You think it's doozies?
I'm picking. Hey, these are guys these are legitimate players.
How much time did you spend on this game?
1 hour.
I love it.
I've got seven players for you guys.
We have 4 more of these to go.
Hey, these are hilarious, dude. I can't help it. So this guy was actually an unranked power forward coming out of college. He is 6'8". He is a junior from Point Loma, a D2 national championship school. He averaged 21.9 points per game, which is respectable, but it's Division II. But he totaled 9 rebounds, 9 or more rebounds out of his 36 games, 3 times. 6'8" power forward, only got 10+ rebounds 3 times in 36 games.
Do you have any of these guys at prospect rankings or just the stats?
Honestly-
just the stats. I don't know if they would actually be ranked anywhere.
Honestly, I like that guy's chances better than the other
Yeah,
two. He
'cause
won
what's that-
he won a championship and he averaged over 20.
Yeah,
No, he was the leader
that's what
of the, I mean,
thinking.
obviously he was the leader of the team. But I mean, still, like, why declare early? Just go ahead and win. Okay, do you guys want this guy in his jersey or out of his jersey? Because both are funny. Okay. Do you know this man?
Nope.
Cougars, Washington State. Nope.
Okay, so in case you guys don't know, this guy has a large afro and sideburns. So it's a pretty good combo to be successful in the NBA about 50 years ago. This guy is CJ Ellaby. He was the 84th ranked small forward in 2018 coming out of high school. He was a freshman. He led the 11-21 Washington State Cougars in turnovers and assists, a 1-to-1 perfect ratio. 14 points per game, but he struggled with the freebies. He shot 66% from the free throw line. This guy is probably... should I go ahead and... No, this one's too good. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys another one. That way, in case after this one you guys want to wrap this thing up, we can. Or I can continue to tell you who is in the NBA draft. Because these are too good.
I wish we should just 1 week have Drake go through and make notes for every single player in the draft.
This is not Marcus Howard. I'll just go ahead and say that. This is not Marcus Howard.
I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with Canisius' roster.
This is a player from Canisius, boys. Canisius is
Mark-
actually...
I've bet on Canisius, but I don't know a single
Yeah,
player.
I bet on
the roster.
Canisius too. He actually played in the MAAC, the conference that we broke down,
okay,
where every team has a losing record. So, his player is Isaiah Reese. He's a 6'5" guard from Canisius. Started 19 games, averaged 12 points, 6 rebounds, 4.5 assists. Shot 38% from the floor. His team averaged 44% from the floor.
So before you got to the football percentage, I thought, man, that's not too bad. But I know you can't have 12 points on 38%.
Do these kids? I'm gonna call them kids. We're a little bit older than them now. Do they not have someone in their ear being like, "Hey, buddy, you're not ready"?
No, they don't. Apparently not. This guy, he actually plays for a team that you're more familiar with, but you may get this one. He's the one on the left.
Oh, I'm sure I've seen him play. I just don't know his
Ooh.
last name.
On the your left, my left.
Your left.
Dang, come on, your left is Malik Newman.
I know.
I don't know a guy in my left.
Yeah. There's good reason why you don't.
Oh, it's this something.
You would be correct.
This something.
It is Silvio De Soso.
Yes.
Last year, he was the number 10th ranked power forward in 2017. An early enrollment at Kansas just a year ago got shut down this season due to some illegal benefits, which left him out for the whole year. He logged 175 total minutes in his college basketball career, averaged 8.8 minutes per game, 4 rebounds and 3.7, or 4 points and 3.7 rebounds in his career. Silvio De Sosa.
You know,
I have a question for
he's
you.
probably
Yes.
While we're on this topic, I'm gonna read the stat line to you and just tell me if this would fit your mold. 37 games, 1 started, averaged 9.4 points, 2.5 rebounds, and a little under 2 assists. Shot 44% from the field. Would he fit that mold, do you think? Left
Yes.
after his freshman year.
Absolutely. That's the kid from Florida.
That's Zach LaVine.
Oh, that's Zach LaVine. Oh, wow.
well. Exactly, Veen couldn't jump as high as he could. He would have been drafted as high, and his life could have been different.
Yeah, that's
Well, I'm
true.
not saying he would not book out at some point in time, but it was definitely propelled due to the fact that he jumped so high at the combine.
Okay, Diesel, just quick question. Are any of these guys going to be Zach LaVine?
Probably not.
Okay. This is my last one. We'll wrap it up after this one. This picture's too good not to show you guys.
Was that Marshall? Is that what?
That's definitely a hockey player in basketball uniform.
Looks like Travis Kelce, kind of. I don't know him, yeah.
You won't.
You won't. You're not going to.
Samir Sahik. Unranked coming out of high school, started big man for he was a starting big man for Tulane Green Wave. Tulane went 4-7 under the tutelage of Coach Mike Dunleavy. He's a redshirt junior who finally cracked the starting lineup this year and averaged 12.7 rebounds.
Hey, you can get boards.
Yeah, he can crash the glass. Do you guys think that's a problem?
What, all these kids going to the draft? That
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think I could have pulled up, like, probably the first 40 guys that are going in the draft that are played in college this year that weren't international stars. I think you guys would have nailed almost every single one of them. At least got close.
Yeah. I knew that the Sousa guy, the tall guy from Kansas, like...
Even if you didn't know his name, you could have at least been like, oh, that's the guy who got hurt from Auburn. Or, oh, that's the guy that did this. Like, all the other players that have left, you probably know.
I mean, I guess there just needs to be an expanded G League, or I don't know.
Yeah, this is bad.
I mean, if you let kids start going straight out of high school, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to be kids making even worse decisions.
Imagine some like the 100th ranked high school prospect going to a draft. Like,
but a lot of kids, I mean, could go straight to like professional basketball and just skip college. I mean, maybe not that they couldn't go straight to the NBA, but
I doubt the guy that played, 8 minutes a game for Creighton. I doubt he would.
Yeah.
But the thing is, Leighton and I did something very similar to this last year, and there was a player that didn't even average a full point. There was a freshman from like SEMO that went because he had a dream that God told him to go to the draft.
I know it happened to him, but I wish I knew his name.
I don't know where he's at.
I could find out.
Well, Chris Walker he played like 15 college games at Florida. He shouldn't have gone to the draft either, and he's still just stuck in the G League somewhere, probably
Floating around in the G League.
Yeah, literally, he's probably floating.
Yeah,
he can jump so high, but
yeah, it's rough. It's rough. I was going through those players today. Honestly, out of the players that had declared early, there was probably only 20-something that I knew. And that's bad, because I've watched a lot of basketball this year. So, guys, that'll segue us perfectly into the shittiest take of the week. And guys, be sure to, if you listen to that segment, just give those guys a Google. If you heard a name, give them a Google. Take a look at some of the pictures, because it's obvious that a lot of these guys are not NBA talent. Pretty apparent. So, guys, shittiest take of the week. Leighton C., what do you got for us today?
So I have 1.5 this week. The half one because I just can't not point out Clay Travis every time I get a chance to.
Oh, that's tough.
People knows I have a 15-minute commute to work. For that 15 minutes, I hear Clay Travis. So Clay always has on these really kind of obscure guests. He's on super early in the morning. Don't know if it's through sports or not, but he asked a question, or he talked about the NBA playoffs for a solid couple minutes, like the NBA playoffs reseeded after the first round. And finally the guest is like, Clay, it's impossible for the Bucks to play whoever it was. He goes, wait, the NBA not reseed? He goes, no. Oh, didn't they used to? Look up for me when they quit reseeding the NBA draft.
It was never.
I don't think they've ever reseeded the NBA draft.
That's the NFL.
He said the NFL. He said he thought the NBA did it too. He said he knew the NBA did that at some point in time, and then no one else had brought it up again.
Hell, I kind of felt like an idiot whenever Diesel told me that the games weren't 2, 3, and 2. But I mean, that's at least understandable.
Yeah,
because that's what it was for a long time.
Yeah, you know they don't reseed. And then you got into the thing about why don't they reseed? How an insulated tournament would be better if they reseeded.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. It was long. I don't know. He got in a fucking the whirlwind there. He got trapped in the tornado.
He got trapped in. He had to make himself look not as dumb.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is.
He loves saying the woods. This is what happens when you don't put down notes whenever you can't remember a team or a name. The other shit take though was RJ Bell in Vegas. He has a show on Fox Sports that gets done when I get off of work. Also very bad. When he tells you things, he tells you by asking you a question, and then he gets right to the point. And today he was asking whoever was on there with him, it was like Jeff or something. Do you think the Thunder would be better off right now by cutting ties with Russell Westbrook? And the guy was like, well, they can't. They're paying $40 million for the next 3 seasons. So then, the hypothetical that became a likelihood in his mind was, Westbrook acknowledges that, hey, we're not going to get this done here. Go to the front office and just voice the contract.
That'd be smart.
So then the question was, why would the Thunder not do that? My question was, why would Russell Westbrook ever do that? And no one would give him that much. One, he can't get that much money for anybody else.
No.
And two, nobody today probably would get him $40 million if they could.
I would be surprised if
I know
wouldn't.
somebody would, but
Somebody would.
you're just not going to go opt out of that deal, though.
No, absolutely not. Why would he? Because the only way he could make that much money is if he would sign with the team that drafted him, and if he hit the open market, he wouldn't be able to get that kind of value.
Yeah, and then
The NBA set it up this way, RJ Bell.
The final question would be to the Thunder, what would the alternative be? Bring it full circle so it tells you nothing, but it still tells you a whole lot.
I love that. Diesel, what's your shit take of the week?
Mine's going to go to Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith. I was watching the halftime show last night of the Thunder and Trailblazers game, and they go through, they talk about the half, how they feel. Both of them were adamant, first off, that Portland was going to the finals. That
What?
they were going to beat, they were the ones knocking out the Warriors, Portland was the team. And as they were talking, they proceeded to call Yusuf Nurkic, they called him Nuricic. Both of them did. It's like, you don't even know the names of the players of the team that you're
awesome.
saying is going to knock off the Warriors. So I don't know what they've been smoking, but I don't know. I feel like that's a real dark horse just to pull out of nowhere.
Damian Lillard's postseason success over the last few years just screams to me that they're going to beat the Warriors. That's crazy to me.
I mean, at this point, they had won 2 playoff games in the past 2 seasons, and they're like, yep, this is it. I saw enough. 2 games against the dysfunctional Thunder, and I am sold.
I love that. Well, they have to find somebody that they can talk about beating the Warriors, but just don't make it the Trailblazers. Like, at least say, like, I don't know, the Nuggets or the Rockets. Like, give us something else other than that.
People are hungry. Yeah, they're hungry to find a team to beat them.
So, I have 2. What do you guys want? Do you want a Nick Wright take or do you want a Skip Bayless take?
Skip Bayless take.
Skip. Skip Bayless said, now, he was being pretty conservative here, but he sees 12 wins for the Dallas Cowboys this season.
To be conservative with that.
He was being very conservative. That's what he said. He said, I see 12 wins on the Dallas Cowboys schedule, and I'm being conservative.
Maybe he's being conservative in the opposite way that makes no sense.
Okay, let me read just some teams that are on the Dallas Cowboys schedule. At the Saints. I'm going to chalk that one up for a loss.
Yeah, okay.
Against the Packers, I know the Packers aren't that damn good, but it's Aaron Rodgers still. So the Cowboys are probably going to win that game, but it's still a tough game. They play against the Vikings. They play at Foxborough, which I heard is a very tough place to play. They play at Chicago, and they play the Rams. And then on top of that, they have to play the Eagles twice. Do you see 12 wins there?
No, I
They're
had
going to drop a game they're not supposed to. Or they're supposed to win at some point too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're going to lose. They won't do a clean sweep against the Redskins and the Giants. Like, they might lose one of those games. Division games are always weird. They're definitely going to lose one to the Eagles. And then you take your pick. They'll probably lose to the Rams. They'll probably lose to the Patriots. They'll probably lose to the Saints. And then you throw the Bears in there at Chicago. They're probably going to lose that game too. I think the Dallas Cowboys, with the schedule that they have, I think they're going to be pretty lucky to win 10 games.
I had them winning 8 games. Went through the schedule when it first came out. I thought 8. I thought they got 10 to be a very good season. But I don't think 12.
Conservative is 12. That's conservative Skip coming at you.
I can be a homer with my picks sometimes, but I wish I could make millions of dollars a year doing it.
Yeah, I know. Dude, his takes with the Cowboys are ridiculous. All right, on to my Nick Wright. This was a tweet from First Things First. If Dwayne Haskins is actually plummeting on draft boards, it will be because of one of 3 things. 1, lies. He's not plummeting. 2, incompetence. People don't know what they're doing. And 3, prejudice. Guys, who's more than likely going to be the number 1 pick of the draft?
I think they're going to trade it, but Kyler Murray, probably.
Who would be the odds-on favorite? Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Okay. How in the world would prejudice sneak up in there? You look at quarterbacks taken in the first round over the last few years. I mean, Cam Newton, he's also a black quarterback, like Dwayne Haskins. He went number 1. Jamarcus Russell, same thing. He went number 1. NFL quarterbacks are not, or NFL teams are not going to have prejudice sneak into their locker room whenever it comes down to a multi-billion-dollar question. Who's going to be this team's starting quarterback? I don't see how you can say the prejudice is it. 2, lies. Why would people lie about that? Plus, it's not really lies. It's it wouldn't be lies, because if you're reporting it, you're reporting something that somebody said, and you're not going to go out there and put false information out there for people if it's not a true statement. Because guess what? Your reputation plays a lot into this if you're somebody who's trying to break a story, and with the incompetence. I don't see how people wouldn't know what they're doing whenever they're trying to break down these players. As the draft process goes on, we've seen players that rise for good reason, like Aaron Donald, who nobody really had even sniffed about until right before the draft. People are like, oh shit, this guy's really, really good. Khalil Mack, another story, rose in draft boards. The guys who rise towards the end, it's because people actually watch tape on them. Mm-hmm. You cannot have scouts watch tape on every single player a month after the season's over. Like, that's just impossible. Now that teams are actually being able to evaluate talent, it makes it a lot easier. I don't see how any of those could be it, other than the fact that maybe they've just watched his tape now, and they just don't think he's as good as what you think. Plus, there's not that many teams that are super quarterback needy that have to go spend a first-round pick on a quarterback whenever you look around the league. 5 teams took a quarterback in the first round last year. Guess what that means? 5 teams are not looking for a quarterback in the first round this year unless you drafted Josh Rosen. So, I don't understand what he's trying to make here. He's trying to make a story out of nothing, but Nick Wright, please do better. All right, so guys, let's get to some MLB chatter. So guys, I have 2 stat lines for you, and you guys have to tell me which one is more impressive. All right, first stat line: 1 inning pitch, 2 hits given up, 1 earned run, 1 strikeout, or 50 at bats, 21 strikeouts, 7 hits, and a 492 OPS. Guys, which stat line is more impressive?
Okay, so league average OPS is 750. That's like over a 40% strikeout rate. I think I know who it is.
I'm going to go with the pitcher one.
You think the pitching is more impressive?
That's like a whip of 2 and a 9 ERA, isn't it?
That's a 9 ERA for sure.
The guy's batting, was it 140?
He's 140. Which is a more impressive stat line?
His OPS is so... He could be slugging okay.
Well, I mean...
You know what?
You
win a hitters league, home run league, give me the slugging percentage.
You can keep your job as a reliever if you give up 2 hits and a run. I don't really think you can keep your job if you keep doing that over 50 at-bat stretches. I'm going to go with the pitching one.
Yeah, no, I agree. Pitching is more impressive. This guy's is Chris Davis. It is Chris Davis' stat line on the season. He has pitched 1 inning, given up 2 hits, 1 earned run, and had 1 strikeout. And he's also had 50 at-bats, 21 strikeouts, 7 hits, with a 492 OPS. I think his pitching is more impressive than his hitting. So, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the Yankees. Their IL looks like... This feels so weird saying IL. The Yankees IL looks like something I've never really seen on MLB team before. Joel Embiid was probably healthier his first 2 seasons in the league. Guys, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Didi Gregorius, Gary Sanchez, Troy Tulowitzki, Jacoby Ellsbury, Greg Bird, Miguel Andujar, Aaron Hicks, Luis Severino, Dylan Bichantis. Guys, I have to ask you, would this injured list, if all healthy, just this injured list, win a wild card game?
So, yeah, it could.
Absolutely.
I think so, too.
They fill an entire team. In the outfield, they have Hicks, Judge, and Ellsbury. At first, they have Greg Bird. At second, they have Didi. At short, they have Tulu. At third, they have Andujar. Catching, they have Sanchez. Pitching, they have Severino. And moving, they have DeSantis. So, yeah, that team could win a wild card game for sure. 1,000%. 1,000% could win a wild card game.
They absolutely could. That's basically like last year's Yankees, but you put in Tulowitzki.
Yeah.
That's wild.
You're basically trading Torres for Tulu. And Ellsbury's on the team.
Yeah, that's it. I really think that team could win a wild card game. So, guys, how much are the Yankees in trouble with all these injuries within the first 20 games?
So Andrew Hall is out for maybe the entire season. They called Judge's oblique strain significant. I'm not too up on the rest of them.
They did not hold a candlelight vigil for him this year, and I was pissed off.
Man, I can't believe the backlash from last season.
Did you see that Lisa last year? They held that candlelight vigil for him.
But I'm not talking about other injuries. I know Sancho is supposed to be back soon. Tulu and Ellisberg are basically a waste of space anyway. Severin might not throw all season. That's a big one, but Sancho's hurt too. But I'd be pretty worried, though.
Yeah.
When you have 162 games and the first 25 you have 13 players injured, a lot of impact guys, I'd be concerned.
I think they're going to be fine, really. They're in second right now in the division, and the Rays are just kind of playing probably above what they actually are.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to be fine. I mean, granted, they do need to get these guys back, and it's going to be a process. They're not going to come back and immediately start hitting well. I mean, some of them might, but most of them aren't. I mean, I think they're going to be fine, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if there's going to be a time where this happens, like other than the All-Star break where you get like multiple days off for these guys to get injured, I think this would be the best time for it to happen.
Think about the Dodgers' start last year.
Yes, the Dodgers were absolutely atrocious, and that's the only reason why I'm not going to bury this team. Because, once they get everybody healthy, that will be able to come back. Like, if they rattle off like a 20-5 into the regular season, like, that team could be just fine, and this team right here that's just on the injured list could realistically rattle off like a 20-5 into the season.
Yeah, if James Paxton keeps throwing 7 innings, like a 12 guy heavy start, 2 times in a row now, they'll be okay.
Yeah.
I think they'll be fine, but still could be concerned.
Oh, yeah. They just need the Red Sox to keep rolling.
Hey, we swept the Rays. They're in first place.
That's true.
Better than citizens in baseball. What want me to do?
Yeah, that's true. So, guys, last year we had 16 players north of 300 batting average, which may be the fewest in MLB history. I got tired after I looked back 20 years and didn't find one lower.
Well, Drake, you have to go back another 20 years. 1968.
Did you find that?
Yep.
Wow, nice job.
7 guys did it. I looked that year up. It was the year of the pitcher. The MVP for both pitchers, Bob Gibson, had a 1.12 ERA. The batting champion was Carl Yastrzemski and batted .301.
You're shitting me.
Oh, shit.
Nope. Year of the pitcher, what they call that year.
Was that the year that they decided to lower the mound?
2 years prior to that, they changed the strike zone, and this is the first year it really took a toll, for whatever reason.
That's weird.
It is weird. But yeah, 1968, year of the pitcher.
I wonder if they, seriously though, I wonder if they lowered the mound the year after that, because that's just unbelievable. Guys, this season, we've had 42 players that are hitting over 300. Do you guys think that we're starting to get back in a different approach to where, players are starting to value a base hit? Or do you think that this is just players on early season heaters across the league?
Okay, so I think this is a fallacy. So of the 42 players, 23 of them are on pace for over 30 home runs, and 35 are on pace for over 20. The most 30-plus home run, 300-plus guys ever was in 2000. They had 27. There has been more than 10 in one season since 2006, and that was 13. And for 20 home runs, the most 20-plus home runs, most 300-plus guys, it was also 2000. And there were 40, and it had been more than 20 since 2009. And even today, there are still more strikeouts than hits. So I'm going to say that this is just players going to a hot start, and it's going to fade out to be somewhere in the teens.
I think it's just hot starts. I just think immediately of the teams I follow the most.
You don't think Jason Hayward's
And Jason Hayward's above 300. I think David Bodie probably is after yesterday. Colton Wong is probably close. Ozuna, I know, has a bunch of home runs. I don't know his average, but like guys like that, I don't think any of them are going to hit 300. Maybe one of them does out of the 4. But like that whole 42 is guys sprinkled in like that.
Yeah, no, it definitely
I'd
is.
venture to say maybe like, I bet 3/4 of the people batting over 300 now don't. None of their guys make their way in, but I think it's just a...
Yeah, I definitely think it's a fallacy too. Doesn't Tim Anderson still lead the league in batting average?
Yeah, over 400.
That's insane.
Oh, I know he got in the fight. It was 417.
Yeah.
Maybe he had a right to throw the bat.
Yeah, he definitely did. That was too hot. That's what it was. I had to get it out of his hand. So, guys, I actually brought in some trivia for you. It's kind of funny. So, like I said, last year we had 16 players hit north of 300. During the 1988 home run race, okay, the years of the steroids, how many players do you think...
Was this 98, you said?
1998.
Okay.
How many players do you think hit over 300 that season?
How many
There
did
was
last
16 last year.
So I was thinking, so 4...
What, 30 times?
Blayton's running a mathematical equation through his head right now.
30
Like-
times 25, that's like 30 times 25, that's like 700 players in the league-ish.
Yeah, it can.
I'm gonna
in the
go on a
30s,
limb.
35.
I'm gonna say 52.
55.
That was close.
55 players hit over 300 in the steroid era. 1998, that was the prime. How many players hit over 40 home runs?
98.
Yep.
So see, 30 teams, 45.
14, I guess.
13. 45?
I was banking the fucking jacks, dude.
No.
Because of
I was,
fucking
like,
bombs.
Rafael Palmeiro was probably fucking hitting jacks then.
It was, in the last two
And then
seasons, we've had
Sosa and
8
McGuire.
total.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the same guys. Too.
Wait, 98. Oh, no one. I thought that had something to do with my trivia question.
So I actually have one more. So, since 2010, we have had 3 players hit over 50 home runs. How many were in that season alone?
Just that one again?
50 home runs. We've only had 3 since 2010. How many hit 50 home runs that season?
Wait, it's just. I'm confused on your question, kind of.
1998. How many players hit over 50 home runs?
Oh, hit over 50
in
home
the
runs
last
that season.
Okay.
Since 2010, we've only had 3. I was just trying to give you some.
Okay. So in back to 1998.
1998. How
And
many?
14 hit over. I'm gonna guess
7.
9.
4. 4 is still a lot. I mean, we've only had 3 guys do it since
Yeah.
2010.
I was going to guess 5, but
Who was it? Was it Sosa, McGuire, Sosa, and was it Palmeiro?
I remember it was obviously McGuire and Sosa. I don't remember the other 2. Mo Vaughn was in the 40 home run club, though.
I
Then.
don't even know.
Mo Vaughn was the man. Latency, you said you had some trivia questions for us. Lay it on us.
Yeah,
I love that 1998 season.
I
mean,
would-
dude, 55 guys hitting over 300. You had 14 guys hitting over 40 home runs, and you had 13 guys hitting over 40 home runs, and 4 guys hitting over 50. That's awesome.
So I did one trivia question and one stat that might blow you guys' mind. I think it blew mine. So the Mariners, through 25 games, had 56 home runs. That's the most ever. How many other teams? Sorry, rephrase the question. How many times has a team hit 50 home runs through the first 25 games, including this Mariners team? So at least one.
Just ever?
Ever. 25 games, 50 more home runs. Mariners set the most, 56.
So I feel like
The Mariners should be worried. They're
Like,
only 6 games
and
above
like-
500,
well,
setting the home run
I feel
record.
like one of the
Wait
years
for that.
I feel like the Yankees did it when A-Rod had like 16 home runs in April one time or 12.
Can you believe that they set the record for home runs and they're only 6 games above 500 though?
Oh, no, I'm going to tell you another thing in a second.
I'm confused as to how the Cardinals score runs. I think it's home runs.
Yeah, it has to be. Well, it was Ozuna hitting like 8 home runs in
Yeah,
10
and
games.
the Young has a good average, but Carpenter doesn't. Goldschmidt doesn't. They just hit home runs, I think.
Yeah, it has to be it. I'm gonna guess that it's happened 3 other times.
The other times for 4 total.
Yes.
Diesel?
I'm gonna just guess. I'm gonna guess that was the only time.
It happened 3 times ever. The first time was in 2000, the Cardinals. They went on to go 95-67 and lose to the Mets in the NLCS. And in 2003, Texas Rangers with A-Rod and Palmeiro went on to go 71-91. So hitting home runs in April is not indicative at all of season success.
I did not realize A-Rod and Rafael Palmeiro played on the same team. That makes a lot of sense.
03. Okay, so now,
A-Rod was like the best shortstop ever.
Yeah.
okay, so now my awesome, amazing stat. Just, I don't have to talk about this stat, but I wanted to know who had the most pinch hit home runs. So I couldn't really find that, but I found the most sub home runs. So he subbed into the game at a pinch hit, where he came for injury, whatever. I'm not going to the player, because you never going to guess the player with the most. But what do you think is the most home runs hit in a situation where the player was subbed into the game? Whether pinch hit or for an injury.
In what time span?
Ever. A player's career.
A player's career, how many times have they done it?
Came into the game and hit a home run.
Was it a player? Was it a player in like the last 30 years?
Yeah, it was.
Who was the one cat that got in?
it-
He did. Remember he pinch hit last year like 3 times?
Yeah,
and
I'm
hit
actually the
jacks?
player. I'm actually the number. Okay, you're not gonna guess the player.
Was it Julio Franco?
No, not Julio Franco. No.
I'm gonna guess 10.
That was on a real limb.
So
but
you think 10? Most
Yeah.
ever is 10.
Yeah.
Okay, Diesel.
pinch hit home runs.
Pinch hit home run or 7 to the game.
Okay,
hitting home
I'm
run.
with you. Most
So
10.
10.
I'm gonna guess 20.
29.
That's a ton, dude.
Who-
Matt Stayers Here's his
Matt
stats.
Stairs.
Here are his stats in the games. 40 plate appearances. 29 home runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts.
He only got 49 plate appearances?
40.
40.
At 29 home runs.
Why did he not play
From
more?
subbing in. He played on a lot. He played for...
Oh, he only had 40 whenever he came in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Played for almost 20 years. Played
I was getting ready to say.
So then I started looking at...
Matt Stairs.
There are a lot of guys who just have a lot of success coming in. How many players do you think have a perfect OP? That's him. That's the man.
He looks like a poor man's John Kruk. Actually, John Kruk looks like a poor man's Matt Stairs.
So, how many players do you think have a perfect OPS when being subbed into the game? So that means never got out.
Oh, I know. He did it last year. Didn't he have like 3 of them last year?
How many players have a perfect OPS in their career when being subbed into the game?
Let's guess 5.
What is a perfect OPS?
Uh,
Like 5?
5,000. So yeah,
Okay.
5. Home run every hit and never get out.
How many? You're asking how many ever?
In their career.
I'm just going to guess 5, and that's because they only got 1 plate appearance.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess nobody.
15.
Wow.
Of the guys you would know, Ted Williams, Stephen Drew, Mark Reynolds.
Who did it? Who had the most actual at bats? Does it say?
Matt Stairs with 40.
There's no way in their career. There's no way Mark Reynolds is on that. There's
And Mark Reynolds' career subbing into the game is 8.
he played for the Cardinals and he would pinch it all the time, and I definitely saw him get out.
I don't know how Baseball Reference wants to count as subbing, but he is 10 plate appearances, 9 at bats, 9 hits, 9 home runs, 19 RBIs.
I feel like that's not right.
That's got to be
Take
correct.
it for Baseball Reference, man. I'm gonna tell you.
Diesel email them.
Yeah,
Tell him
email
your
Baseball
disdain for the
Reference
Cardinals.
and tell me how that works.
Tell him your disdain for the Cardinals, and tell him that you know Mark Reynolds subbed in and did get out.
Stephen Drew's 8 for 8 home runs.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Well, it's because they got practice hacks under the...
That's what it was. There's all 3 pitchers. Got most of them. I thought that was insane that 15 players being sent in the game have perfect OPS.
That is wild.
That is
I'm
wild.
going to Mark Reynolds.
They have to know.
Diesel's got to take
He
it
has
up with
to know.
baseball reference. So, any more trivia questions?
No, that's it.
Okay. So it is time to put our producer in the spotlight. Each week he goes out and he watches several different movies, and he brings one in to review. So, Latency, what'd you bring for us today?
Well, Drake, much to my disdain, for the second time ever, I didn't see anything new.
You didn't see anything new.
I did not. Because nothing. It got to the point where I had seen every single movie in theaters again. So the only thing I could go see was a movie called The Missing Link that I went for going to see. So I didn't see a movie last week.
Wow.
I'm fiending. I'm going to see Hellboy tomorrow. But no, I had nothing to review for you guys today. For the first time ever. No.
Wow.
I didn't see anything new. Game of Thrones last night. It was really good. I almost spoiled it, but they're prepping up for the big hour, 20-minute battle next week. So it's going to be really cool. Looking forward to that. But
Nothing. Didn't
Nothing.
watch a single movie.
I watched nothing new.
Wow. I was just looking for a movie that you could review on the wall, but you don't have any.
Which one? I seen Dumbo recently.
Dumbo?
Dumbo, yeah.
The old one or new one?
The new one.
How was
Video from the old one. The new one is different every single way possible, actually. Not a bad movie. Tim Burton did it. Kind of creepy because Tim Burton did it. I don't know.
I'm surprised that they
1.8
had to
dips.
change like the whole outlook of Dumbo and like couldn't make him have big ears, like couldn't make him any different than anybody else. Like in the new way of thinking, I'm surprised that they could run with that.
Same thing.
No
But
backlash from Dumbo.
this movie is really different. I haven't been pushing a long time. My girlfriend had, and she told me that it was different every single way possible. She hated the movie actually,
Huh. Wow.
but I thought it was okay. 1.6 dips.
Okay. So guys, any bold predictions for the week?
It was wrong last week, so make it right this week. Red Sox back to 500.
It's bold.
Hey, only 3 games back now. 4 games back now.
I guess I made a bold prediction 2 weeks ago. The Cubs would be at 500. They are at 500 today, but I don't think they played enough games to get in 500 within the week that I set it in. But anyways, I think for like totally out of character moves, Steelers are going to trade up in the first round.
I hope they do.
I don't know.
I really do.
I don't know how high. Hopefully, it's not for Devin Bush, but I think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
What for Devin White?
That's what I want.
Yeah, no, you have to trade high.
Hell of a trade
I
up.
feel like if you're going to trade up, you have to trade high enough to get Devin White.
Yeah.
Dude's unbelievable. My bold prediction is that Dwayne Haskins falls out of the first round. It's going to really piss Nick right
I
off.
was going to bet you on this.
It's my bold prediction.
I give you odds.
I'll give you plus 500.
We'll find the odds on Bovada. We'll get back to you.
Bovada has that up from his shit brick.
And on that note, for Drake, for Latency, and Diesel, as always, Dippers, stay saucy.